That's not Fallout. War never changes. Or maybe it does, who cares? It's over. The world's in ashes. These irradiated ruins are all we got now. Good thing that some things don't change, like a tendency of humans to flock together or surround themselves with junk. Yeah, people love junk. Junk makes all the difference, makes the life easier. Parts, medicines, electronics, fuel, fertilizers, weapons. The more junk you have, the more civilized you are, the better your chances of survival. Naturally, humans are willing to eat each other for junk. Not these ones. These are not exactly humans. They want to eat you just for kicks. The point is, when there is a demand, there is a supply. And that's where you come into play. You are a scavenger. You make a living searching for all sorts of valuable things around what's left of civilization. Settlements like the one you live in, the dam, depend heavily on the services of people like you. The work's dangerous, but it pays. And sometimes even has its benefits, if you don't get shot or eaten. That's how you got your motorcycle. Now you can travel further than other scavs, an advantage for sure. It was just another day in the outskirts, when, wiping out another petty raider gang, you stumble upon a radio. The thing should be worth a few scraps, so you count your foray a success. You wait for the night to head back to the dam. And then you pick up a signal.
What was all that about?
That's how it all started. Let's talk about Doom mods. It's a pretty obvious thing to say, but the classic Doom modding scene is a rabbit hole. The engine was open sourced in '99, and you know, a lot has happened since then. Some might think that every Doom mod is essentially Doom, and they would be very wrong. For example, Ashes is more of a Duke Nukem. Ashes is a post-apocalyptic total conversion mod for Doom 2, stylistically inspired by titles like Stalker and Fallout. Gameplay-wise, it lands somewhere between classic Doom and Duke Nukem 3D. The shootouts are fast, you are able to carry items for later use, and jump. Monsters can be sneaked upon and sometimes quarrel with each other. The pace of the game often changes. First you frantically kill things, then find yourself riding a motorcycle across the desolate wasteland or walking around some town talking to the locals. The dialogues are branching, reminiscent of classic Fallout. Sometimes there's an optional quest to fetch or some info about the world you are in. You can be a cheeky smartass all you want. Locals tend to do that too. If you got the impression that the game is an RPG, it's not. It's a linear experience with occasional surprises on the way, but you don't have any skills to level or factions to join. That doesn't mean it's bad though, quite the opposite. This is a story about a journey. It feels like one, it's not too long, and the ending is satisfying. For the record, this video is about Ashes series in general, which is 2 games and an expansion. But for starters, I'm gonna extensively talk about the first game. And by talk, I mean play the shit out of it, spoiling everything and pointing out what works and what doesn't. Then, I'm gonna use this information to illustrate how the series progressed. So let's mention technical stuff first.
Eat his flesh.
From a technical standpoint, Ashes being a Doom 2 mod means that you can run it on a potato. And the latest version is bundled with a copy of Free Doom and GZ Doom engine. That means you download the game, install it, launch it and play it right off the bat. No additional actions needed. Did I mention it's free? What's the deal with these free mods being better than some games you can buy? The gameplay is mostly straightforward. Run through levels, find keys, open doors, shoot everything that moves, you know, typical stuff. Sometimes you ride a bike. On occasion you can pick up a weapon upgrade or discover a path to a secret map. Keeping with traditions of build and Doom engine games, there are a lot of secret stashes to find around. It feels great finding one. The engine's limitations are easy to figure out, so you can guess where to look for most of the time, but it's still challenging. The art style of Ashes is old schooly, big pixely, and it looks very consistent. The game is filled with obscure and funny references to the classical titles of the past. It's fine if you don't get some of them, but feels great when you do. The levels are designed as a full-fledged locations with environmental storytelling going on, more about that later. The attention to details is half of what sets the tone here. The other half is the sound. First, the voice acting.
I get his liver. Yes.
Well, that was disappointing.
It's fine. And then the music. It is Genius. The musical score of Ashes is provided by John S. Wickley, an avid doomer and a prolific Doom mods composer. It is retro-wavy and diverse, but at the same time it doesn't feel like a collection of disjointed tracks. It feels thematic. There's a distinctive leitmotif going around. Terrific. What else? The guns are punchy, the shotgun is good, there's a couple of platforming sections, but only one of them is mandatory and it's in the tutorial, so it's passable. Sometimes maps use enemy placement technique known as bullshit, but that's quite rare too. Time to move to my favorite part, where I spoil things and stick my finger into every detail I like. Spoilers ahead, you've been warned.
Eat his flesh.
What was all that about?
You have no idea, but you got your loot, so it's time to head back to the dam. There's a certain someone who can buy this radio off your hands. The only thing to worry about is the amount of gasoline in the tank of your bike that you can actually ride. You decide to come by an abandoned gas station nearby, just in case you get lucky. Hey guys! Notice that they are facing in the opposite direction. Are they hiding from someone? The sign says it's the Reds' territory. Reds? Okay, but where is everyone? Except for an occasional wildlife, the place is empty. Those poor fellas you've just met are certainly not the whole gang. You press forward. Oh, Reds. Alright, that's your environmental storytelling right there.
Eat his flesh.
Cannibals. Let's talk about enemy design. So, cannibals. Cannibals are tricky. They are quite sturdy. It takes a few shotgun shots to put one down. They see you, they accelerate in your direction, strafing and evading shots. If there are several of them, they try to surround you, and they don't hold back. So fighting them is a frantic dance with careful shooting. Here's a piece of useful information about your weapons. They run out of ammunition very fast, and reloading takes quite a long fucking time too. This is not shower them in bullets kind of game. This is keep your guns loaded because switching them is faster kind of game. All in all, don't get cornered by mutants. Bandits, on the other hand, are a different story. They are pretty flimsy, but they have guns and tend to shoot when seeing you. It's generally a bad idea to try to dodge a bullet. Different bandits are differently armed. The green-haired and brown-helmeted ones carry pistols, which is mostly tolerable. Mostly. The ones with a red mohawk pack a fucking shotgun. Have you ever tried to catch a shotgun blast with your face? Don't do that. You see red, you better back off. Simply put, dealing with raiders comes down to taking cover, and it usually doesn't take long. It's either you or them. Fortunately, mutants and bandits can't stand each other, which is understandable and handy, so they never attack together. It creates a nice change of rhythm between encounters and breaks the pace of the game even more, which means more gameplay variety. And an additional thumbs up to the developers for giving enemies distinctive features. Purple pile of pixels means mutants, yellow circles mean you're gonna be spit on, bright red is get the fuck down. Awesome. From what I can tell, some aspects of the game has been redesigned several times, and it's for the best. Back to the story. You find this.
1, 2, 2, 1. Send again.
Hey, it's that voice again. Still, you are here for gas. You find it in some garage, and it seems like you're done here.
Looky here, boys. We've got ourselves a real live one. Let's get him. I get his liver. Eat his flesh.
What the hell is that thing? It is huge. Wait, is this a boss fight? So the game throws you a boss fight pretty early. It's a sign of things to come, a warm-up of sorts. Notice that this mutant's projectiles fly slowly enough to evade them. So the pace of this fight is the same as any other fight with cannibals, only the price of your mistake gets higher. You barely make it out alive, almost completely out of ammo. but you have your fuel. So you mount your totally rideable motorcycle and head to the dam. Your home is relatively peaceful. The dam provides electricity, there's a bar and some shops, militia is keeping an order. Some local gangs are stationed here too, including Smiley and his guys. He's the one. You tell him about the broadcast. He says it's no secret. Many people have heard it. It's probably nothing special, just an automated message or something. But some believe that it's some kind of goddess speaking to those who are destined to do great things. For example, a couple of days ago, the leader of the biggest local gang, Barrett, took most of his men and left in search of a source. Anyway, Smiley buys the radio from you and suddenly asks you for a favor. He needs a certain red suitcase to be delivered to a place called Mission Circle. It's an underground settlement on the subway station of the same name deep in the city. Pretty far, but with that bike of yours it should be an easy task. Find a guy named Riggs, he owns a store. He'll pay you. Why the hell not? You have no reason not to believe an old pal. Also, the source of a signal is there. Maybe you'll catch up with Barrett and his guys. But before you leave, a local bartender, Kurt, asks for your help. This is Fortune. She provides details. As Barrett and most of his men left the place, it's a good chance to kick the remaining bandit scum out of town for good. They are settled inside the dam. Those damn raider... Oh, come on, game, you're stealing my pawns. This is a bonus mission. And you're on a timer. If you get to the dam's release valve before Fortune, you get her custom-made shotgun, a weapon she is very proud of. Otherwise, she gets your cut of everything you get there. Is there an actual timer? I have no idea, because plowing through the raiders like a hot knife through a piece of butter is so much fun. Long story short, you get your prize. With a brand new gun in your backpack, you throw one last look at the place that used to be your home. You don't know it yet, but you will never return. You mount your metal steed and accelerate 1 second. Accelerate into the vast horizon. There is a long drive ahead. And while we are here, let's talk about the motorcycle. You know, it's all about the feel. The weight of your bike, the wind, the struggle, and the freedom. You, the road, and the roaring of your motorcycle as you travel across the wasteland. Just the two of you, best friends. So you dump it halfway to your destination. You surround it with corpses to prevent looting, I guess. And make your way through flooded city streets full of hostile bandits into a half-destroyed police station even more full of hostile bandits. They don't like scavenging outsiders like you on their turf. And there's an actual reason for that. You tend to blow shit up and kill a lot of people. Eventually you lay your hands on an SMG, take a bloodbath, and proceed to the subway. An abandoned subway station. Used to be another settlement here, but everyone left the place. Some went to the dam, others to Mission Circle. No word from them since. Barrett and his guys went through here recently. They are probably already dead. You learn this from the last remaining inhabitant of this station. Make yourself at home, he says. Plenty of food about. My bed is the one in the corner. You snore. The dialogues are top-notch. So is the atmosphere. Spooky as hell. I really wouldn't want to bump into a ghost here. Environmental storytelling, Exhibit 2. This is Vasyok. I don't know, some of the devs speak Russian, and Vasyok is a common Russian name, so... By the way, what's the deal with these post-apocalyptic games and Russian speakers? Okay, Vasyok, he's quite unique. There is no other Vasyok in Ashes. As you can probably see, he doesn't feel well. Maybe it has something to do with that flying thing next to him. What is it? What does it do? Let's see if we can take a closer look. Whoa. And now you are Vasyok. Look at what's happening here. The game not only introduces a new enemy in a controlled environment, not only shows you another example of its world's wildlife, but also demonstrates its life cycle to you in a short span of time. Wonderful. And now something completely different. Let me show you how pipe bombs work. Really?
Let's get the hell out of here!
You catch up with Barrett's gang.
I find you!
They get eaten. I wonder if Barrett made it out. Actually, this level is huge, with a ton of Easter eggs and 2 ways out, one of which leads to another secret level, called Temple of a Dollar. It's a trading mall, and a meme galore. It has the best references and callbacks. And the funniest cameo. Which I'm not gonna spoil, just in case. Anyway, you make it through. Mission Circle, the terminal station. Tents, subway cars, well-armed guards. A little bar owned by charismatic Violet. Her stories are great, just like her snacks. Locals entertain themselves by betting on pit fights. Today is Jojo versus Glowtooth. My bet is on Jojo. The guard captain is in charge. He is surprised to see someone coming from the tunnels. They have been barricaded for months. The last person to pass through them was a man calling himself General and his team. They blew up the tunnels behind them, stayed for a week, then went outside and never came back. It was a few years ago. The place is strangely cozy, despite being dangerously close to the city center. That means they have to deal with mutant attacks every now and then. It also means that the local scavenger teams bring a lot of useful things from the outside. Now is not a good time to go out though. The radiation storm has just started. Gonna last for a couple of days. Everyone who went outside knew the risks, so you could settle in here, you know. Help the town by doing some actual scavenging, like bringing parts or medicines from the ruined city. Find use for all this junk you've been hoarding, waiting for a chance to spend it on something good and never getting it. Considering the situation with other scavengers, your services would be in a great demand. But you ask Captain about the broadcast. Sure, he says, it's on every frequency. The source must be nearby. Most likely it's that enormous skyscraper a couple of blocks away, called the Spire. The woman is calling for you. Time to go. But first, the suitcase. It's always about the suitcase delivery, isn't it? You find Riggs. He is super chill. You hand him the suitcase, but Riggs is quite surprised to hear about the payment. It was Smiley who should have paid you. That bastard. Riggs is a little low on junk right now, so all he can do is to offer you some ammunition. You ask him to work on your machine gun instead, and he turns it into the best looking SMG in all Ashes series. You also buy yourself a scoped rifle, a devastatingly powerful weapon, with a completely useless in this game scope function. Will do for shotgun, maybe a single shot shotgun, with an extended reloading time. It is sad to leave this place, but the city is waiting. That woman is waiting. Farewell, Mission Circle. The sky is crimson red, your Geiger counter is clicking non-stop. To avoid being irradiated, you need to constantly seek shelter. The machine gun baby purrs in your hands like a kitten. Rushing through the ruined apartments, you can feel the adrenaline rising. It's the music. Do you know how many times I removed the parts about the musical score from this review? Literally every next level I was like, fuck, the music is awesome. Oh, listen to that score. Remember how I said that the music is good? No, it's a fucking banger. Let's talk about something else. The sights of destroyed city are mesmerizing. Wait a second, is that a bomb in the middle of a town? What is it, a megaton? Actually, it's Atlanta. Didn't you see the signs on the road? You could ask around in Mission. The information about the lore and the world is given very sparingly. It's really subtle and easy to miss. Doesn't matter now. Your primary concern at the moment is taking out one gang of raiders after another, piling the corridors with dozens of corpses. Bug dogs, mutants, hulking ass blasters, these little witchy thingies. Everything dies horribly, especially considering an impressive arsenal you've collected by this point. By the way, here's the only time I ever landed a scope shot. It would be easier to rush in and shotgun the shit out of that bug dog, but I wanted to show off. The radiation provides an additional challenge when you have to fight in the open. The difficulty curve of Ashes is perfect. Not these things again. I hate them, and I love the design. Look at that projectiles. You get to the spire. It is swarmed with mutants. The radiation punches you in the gut while they give you everything they have. The adrenaline flows in buckets. When you're done, you get to the skyscraper's elevator shaft. It stretches many miles down. You descend. So much space down here, maybe even too much. Crates and machinery are lying everywhere. The corridor ends in a massive blast door with a bunch of mutants in front of it. The only way to get here is the shaft behind you, so they must have accidentally fallen through. A good chance to test out your flamethrower, or more precisely, flaming bricks thrower. Good enough. The door requires password. Turns out you know it. You've heard it before, several times. Of course it's fuck you. And that's how the game ends. The scavenger is forever stuck in the basement of a skyscraper, owned by a door lock. Just kidding, the password is 1221. The bunker is filled with a complete silence, aside from the alarms blaring. Blue monitors are glowing here and there. Sometimes you feel the shakes. The place is not very stable. More mutants falling through the shafts. They are really sturdy. But not sturdy enough. You find the door labeled Athena. That's it, the woman. She's in there. You must have guessed what comes next. Here she is, an AI. And a quite lively one. Her favorite color is blue. She's eager to discuss the mutant behavior or the humanity's safe zones around the world. You are the first person in years to talk to her, not counting that general you've heard about in Mission. When he was here, he deleted some browser history, ordered the door sealed, and led his team to the command center, where he shut down all external communications of the tower. Maybe he is still there. Athena asks you to restore the communications. She needs to perform her directive, whatever that is. Alright, you have nothing to do anyway. Might as well go meet General. The poorly lit room is littered with dead bodies. The map on the wall is full of glowing red dots. Looks scary. Could it be that Athena maybe didn't tell you something? Oh look, a pile of loot. And a button. I love buttons. Uh-oh.
It's food!
Fine, let's do this.
Gonna go to smack you! You couldn't get this out of the house! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Turn it down.
Now you have a whole skyscraper with an underground bunker at your disposal. Loads of working tech and AI. Your mission as a scavenger has come to an end. You are the richest man in the world now. You have a lot to talk about with Athena, and you can do whatever you want with all of this. And then the spire collapses right down on your head. It all feels strangely familiar. Like a meta-commentary, like the history is repeating itself. Holding a little figurine of an ancient Greek goddess in your hand, you lie buried under the tons of rubble. And all you can think of is...
What kind of shit ending is that? I ain't dead. I'm coming back for more.
Thanks, Duke. Let's kick off some analysis.
Eat his flesh!
I can't even imagine what it was like to get an ending like this when the game first came out. But now we have a second episode and an uncanonical expansion, so it's okay, I guess. And we'll get to that. But first, let's summarize. Ashes 2063 is... solid. That's the most suitable word here. It is grounded, it knows what it is and what it's not. And this makes it click. It's relatively short, but it kinda works because the experience is tight and memorable. The enemy roster is limited, but it kinda works because of how encounters are designed. Every new monster adds a little to the difficulty, plus the bosses are satisfying. The arsenal is basic, and it kinda works. You switch often, you use everything you get. The lack of ammo and long reloading times intensify the experience. Maybe the boot knife could use some splash damage when you smash containers with it, but that's all I can think of. Oh yeah, only while playing the game for the second time, I found out that some guns have alternate fire. This one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one does, but by this point I've already stopped checking it out. This one does. Oh, the flamethrower can actually shoot flame. Wish I knew that before. And the pipe bombs can be set up as traps, and you've seen them. There's a slight problem with that though. Hear that? Exactly. Nothing. They are hard to see and completely silent, and they blow up instantly, so you don't really have any time to react. Maybe an audio cue would be nice, some high-pitched ringing or beeping, I don't know. Otherwise, you often get in a situation where you run around the map, then boom, time to reload the save. No challenge in that. The map design is quite good. There are some places to soft-lock yourself in, some little roughness here and there, but it's fine. The best thing is that Ashes, being a mod, is still getting updated by its creators. You know, they actually care, unlike many commercial game developers. That's great. So maybe some things I said here are already irrelevant. The game is a brainchild of a modder named Vostok. What started out in 2015 as a Fallout-themed weapons and monsters Doom mod with the roots in Quake modding has turned into its own thing, and as it often happens with passion projects, Voss was eventually joined by other passionate people. They are the chillest guys ever. Much love, fellas. Let's wrap it up. Ashes 2063 is a good game. It's enjoyable, charismatic, and free. There's an expansion, Dead Man Walking. It's made by Reformed Joe, who went in to make a map pack and ended up being dragged into the team. I'll be short, it's kind of a mixed bag for me. An exceptional job with mapping, some new musical tracks, the enemy design is kind of interesting, there's a very memorable character, a new scoped gun. The scope is actually useful thanks again to a great mapping. It adds nothing to the story, there's more bullshit enemy placement, more platforming sections. The town has stuck with me for some reason. The segment with the trap is also pretty cool. Something slightly off, but I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's just because I played it after the second episode, not after the first as it's supposed to be played. So try not to repeat my mistake. It's a great addition. It's worth playing at least once, especially if you want to prolong your Ashes experience a bit more. Okay, we're done here. Let's quickly check out Afterglow and be done with it. Oh wow, where do I begin? I'd really like to say that compared to the previous game, Afterglow is a step up, but it's not. It's a leap. Level design, storytelling, music, voice acting, encounters, guns, every aspect is improved so much that the first episode looks like a warm-up. There's even rudimentary physics now, check this shit out. The horror segments are even more tense than before. I mean, look at how the game starts. Without spoiling much, the story goes like this. You start exactly where you left off. The skyscraper fell on you. Remember that part? Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. The starting sequence looks like a fever dream, and maybe it is. You wake up in Mission Circle. That's right, familiar places and faces make a return. Mission Circle, Guard Captain, Riggs, Violet, they are all here. If you don't feel that kick of nostalgia yet, wait for the characters you don't expect to see to show up. Then we'll talk. As it turns out, another scavenger named Walker carried you out of the spire's ruins. Apparently that skyscraper explosion thing caused the migration of huge swarms of mutants, destroying everything in their path. So while you were chilling in a coma for a few weeks, the town was a war zone. Now the place is full of refugees, because all nearby settlements are destroyed. Guard Captain logically blames you for all the trouble and wants you gone as soon as possible. Not that he's wrong, but you have no means of living. Remember the motorcycle you used to have? That parking thing didn't quite work. The good news is that Riggs has found what's left of it. The bad news is you have to look for parts to make it ride. So that's what you're gonna do. You might also want to find Walker and ask him why he did what he did, or try to fix your bad reputation by helping the town. Yes, now you can do some actual scavenging. Find something to fix ammo making equipment for Riggs, for example, or to look for rare medicines in the ruined city. They are very valuable, so instead of giving them to a local doctor, you may choose to sell them to a shady vendor, who is definitely going to take advantage of the overcrowding situation. There is a lot of optional quests which can be completed in several ways, and the dialogues are even more branching than before. You can be a cheeky smartass again, up to the point of people refusing to have a conversation with you, which by the way can completely cut you off from some additional content. But it's not only about something to do, and here comes the best part about Afterglow. You see, the junk you've been hoarding before has another use except just buying stuff. This is a workbench. You can upgrade your guns using it. It will make you better at killing enemies, and it costs money. Let that sink a little. A resource which you can spend to become stronger. Hold on a second, let me fix one thing. There. Ashes is officially an RPG now. So, what do you do to get yourself some sweet experience junk cash money? Well, scavenge. For example, instead of keeping that valuable first aid kits to yourself, you can sell them. The pay is good, but the payoff is obvious. Or you can just go explore the world looking for junk. And by explore the world, I really mean explore the world. The levels are much bigger now, but more importantly, they are now interconnected in a semi-open world manner, with a hub town in the middle. You can freely travel from one zone to another and back anytime you want. The maps are designed with several ways of approaching them. As you go deeper, there's usually a shortcut to previously explored parts. The level design is next level. There are new enemies with new distinctive features, like this raider girl with a machine gun and a blue hair, or this fatso with a small flamethrower, who sit tightly between a common cannibal and an ass blaster in terms of size and danger. The combat encounters are also improved. They are bigger and more tense. The boss fights are back, and they are still challenging. You even get a companion in one of the missions. The plot continues from the first game, but it's much more engaging and well written, with a couple of twists. The way of conveying the lore is improved too. Environmental storytelling is still present. The motorcycle segments make a return and they are enhanced. At last you can freely accelerate and enjoy the speed and the wind and the feeling. Just when you started to think that you figured out everything there is, the game throws non-linearity at you. You get involved in a standoff between two factions, and you have to choose. Your actions will have consequences and influence the outcome. Actually, there are several endings for every major character and settlement, and you're gonna learn about them in the end in a manner similar to Fallout games, and it fits perfectly. And yes, I said every settlement. Did you think that Michonne is all there is? It's not even a half. The game is like 4 times longer than the first one, and it has so much more to surprise you with. Like an actual Fallout-like special encounter that you can totally miss, and that is the best location in the game. Or this. I mean, that's what a jump from A game to a AA game looks like. The third episode is already being developed, but I really don't know how they're gonna top this one. And it is mind-blowing something like this exists. Something this good. Something of this quality. Especially today, in times of cheap remasters and under-delivered games for full price. This is the dawn of a new great series. A product of pure passion and love for the game development as an art form. It is totally worth buying. Oh wait, it's free! How do you like that? The devs are giving it away for free. Even if you try to give them money, they won't take it. All you can do is to buy the soundtrack. That beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. There are disadvantages to the game, of course. The biggest one is that not many people know about it. But that tends to change, so I'd suggest giving it some time. Also, Ashes Team has no site, no wiki, no officially open Discord. The only place to download the game from is their ModDB page. Looks like they're not very concerned about building a community, but one day it's gonna happen. These guys are gonna get what they deserve. Godspeed. I hope that with the latest events, it will happen faster than actual nuclear winter. Stay safe. Cheers, and see you on the other side of Iron Curtain.